necessarily. If you have a very good, close relationship to somebody, they might be able to access your mind, because the mind of a bardo being, they're called bardo being, is much more subtle than ours, and can read or can perceive thoughts of other people. This is why also it's quite important what you think about people who have just died, because they might be able to perceive it. Maybe yes, maybe no. And very often people say, I feel the person around me. Yeah? So it still lingers. And also what with science now, there was on YouTube, there was thing that somebody said, like at the time of death, even though it seems as everything is dead, but there's like a brain wave that is like a tsunami, they say, the scientists, is so strong that then it shuts all the circuits down. Even though they're clinically dead. Yeah? But then still this whoosh is coming. And so they're using this when you have a stroke, because that wave also comes when you have a stroke, and then it shuts these circuits down. So they're trying to find something to avoid the wave, that tsunami wave, where then when you are not dead yet, that when you come back you can still talk and walk and all this, because that's what happens with people at strokes, that they can't talk or walk, or they don't recognize words anymore, because it has, whatever we have learned is kind of, it's destroyed. It can be relearned, like Lamazopa did, because he had a stroke, and but needs effort and is difficult. So what will help at the time of death? The conclusion is there. I will put first I will look what will be meaningful for me to have a meaningful life, and I will put more effort into going in that direction, and remind myself again and again and again and again, because the habit of not, if you're disturbed, you just move a little bit. The habit is kind of is doing kind of meaningless stuff. Yeah. Because we're so obsessed by the happiness of this life. So we do a lot of things that are absolutely not meaningful for our next life. Yeah? So what is creating a precious human rebirth is on the same page. It's page 5, but on the top there. Or we go back to page 4, where it says a precious at the bottom. Precious human rebirth comes about by keeping pure morality, meaning becoming a totally non-harmful person. Now, even though we don't want to harm, we do harm others, so that's not what is meant. What is meant is harming others voluntarily. That's what is being meant. When you think they deserve it. When you're angry, with quite a lot of joy, you kind of hurl out these unpleasant words, or quite nasty thoughts, also these kind of things. Yeah. But keeping pure morality by what that is, again, these 10 negative actions we talk about tomorrow morning. Practicing generosity and patience, so these are the main practices for a good human rebirth, and having made specific aspirations, like, for example, that last verse in the foundations of all good qualities. In all my life, never be separated from the magnificent Dharma. May I meet perfect teachers. May I practice the 2 stages in order to attain the state of Ashadara. Yeah, to train these quotes so that at the time of death, naturally. We know how it is sometimes. You're totally distracted, and all of a sudden a song comes from somewhere. Why does these words of that song come? Especially when you try to meditate and you listen to a lot of music before. This is what I forgot to say, the person who asked the question last time, why is music not so good? Because if you do long silent retreats, I tell you, all this music and all these lyrics that you knew, they come and haunt you. And you can't let go, and you need to be able to remember it, and your object of meditation is totally gone, and you're obsessed with it, and you think, only that one, then I let go. I need to remember these thoughts. And of course, if you have your telephone with you, then you go into Google, because you need to know these lyrics. You cannot let go. Have you made that experience? Because you're nodding. Yeah. Or melodies also. They play and play and play and play and play. This is why music and meditation is questionable if it's really compatible. to have a quiet mind. Otherwise, nothing wrong about music. It's okay. Having made specific aspirations, this song is coming from somewhere. Why? Because you're so familiar with it. And it's really amazing how when I hear songs from like 60 years ago, I hear the first few notes, I already know what it is. When I hear teachings, where does it fit? Where does it go? These worldly things, there's so much more strong in my life also still. Yeah? And then all the memories come back and all. But yeah, this is why I train. At one point it will go. But also, if somebody 30 years ago would have told me I could live without music and be happy, if they would have said without children and be happy, I would have said, yeah, of course. If they would have told me to be able to live without movies and without, like in movie theaters, without theater, without opera, without music, and I could still be happy, I would have said, no way. No. I don't need it anymore. And I had, still we had these cassettes. So I would make, when I was in Europe, the favorite pieces I would put on these cassettes. And maybe every 2 months I would put it on and I would listen to it when I was not feeling so well. I would have my hair stand up out of pleasure. If you listen to it all the time, it's not pleasant anymore. You just listen to it, there's no more reaction. Yeah? So then slowly it got less and less, and then I threw them away. No need them anymore. Yeah, so I'm grateful. Now for you, when you hear this, you go, no. I don't want this. My life will become terribly boring. Then yeah, don't do this. I'm grateful that I don't need these things anymore. Getting into the car, boom, music, Going into the kitchen, the music. Going up to the room, the music. It was classical music, okay, but still music. If you say, it was hard rock or whatever, heavy metal or things like that, then yeah. But music can be very inspiring also. I have a few songs that sometimes I still listen to on YouTube, but because of the lyrics, not because of the sound. One of them is Leonard Cohen's Anthem. I don't know if you know it. I think if you can play that, you don't know to do practices and you want to do me a favor when I'm dying, you can play that one. I think my mind will go into the right state. When it says, ring the bells that still can ring. I can't say the lyrics without starting to cry, I'm sorry, so forget you perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. This is how the light gets in. And then the wars are fought and will be fought again. Things are bought and sold and will be bought again. And it's all samsara. It's all there. It's a beautiful song. Yeah. Or Freddie Mercury also with his "There must be more to life than living." So for me, it's very inspiring. It reminds me there must be more to life than just having pleasure and look after myself. When he sings, why is this world so full of hate? People dying everywhere. So if you have songs like this, then use them from time to time to inspire you and to put you back on the path. I don't want to I don't want to contribute to the suffering of this world, and as much as I can, may I be able to relieve others from their suffering. Yeah. So then music is okay. Still attachment. Then because YouTube, you finish one song, then immediately, automatically, the next one comes on, and the next one, and the next. So you need to then stop it. Okay. So, but on page 5, you have in a more explicit way the 16 practices for precious human rebirth. So you know what to train in and what to practice. Again, you don't need to be able to do it. You need to practice it, meaning you need to train it. Honestly, earnestly, seriously, genuinely. Putting effort into not to kill, not to steal. It's not commandments, okay? Not to have sexual misconduct. We'll go through that, what it is, tomorrow. Not to lie, not to slander, not harsh words, not meaningless speech, not to be envious, not have harmful thoughts, and not have wrong views. To train, to abstain from that. Not you have to do this. To train yourself genuinely with a lot of interest to be mindful, to abstain from these 10 negative actions. That will create a human rebirth. On top of it, an honest livelihood. At one point we had a young boy in Dharamsala, lots of hair. He needed to wear a cap because in order to just contain Rastafari. And he came to ask me, do you think dealing in drugs is harmful? He's like, no, not at all. I say, yeah, I think so. But he was really amazing. When we did that reflection that we will do now on these 9 points, he disappeared. After the meditation, he disappeared. He came back next morning with cut hair, but not shaven, not something because a layperson shave his head in Asia is no go. Okay, so cut like Giddy or like David, normally a normal haircut. I thought, what? And then he said, when I sat in this meditation, I noticed I'm not attached to my girlfriend, I'm not attached to my car, I'm not attached to my possessions, I'm attached to my hair, and I don't want to die with that attachment. And he must have some Buddhist imprints from past lives, because what he did, he went down to Shita, he went down to the stupa and he offered the hair to the Buddhas. He cleaned it up afterwards, but he brought it as an offering to the Buddhas. And he said his first course, never heard about Buddhism and all this, and then he came down to the library when Geshe Sonam Rinchen was still teaching. So at that time, the library, the schoolroom, was very small, so sometimes people would spill out into the corridor in the old library. So he was kind of coming a little bit late, so he was sitting outside. Geshe-la saw him, he said, you come and sit here, right in front of him. So I'm pretty sure he continued. Not with dealing drugs, but with spiritual practice. So you see, this is why even if you think now you don't understand anything, for you it's only important to hear it. Because then you hear it again and again and again. And one day you do a reflection on it, and boom, all of a sudden it clicks. Like saying, how many of you understood that 2 and 2 is 4 the first time you heard it? Because it doesn't make sense, does it? Why should 2 and 2 be 4 and 3 and 3 be 6? We need to hear it again and again and again until we see the whole structure of mathematics. Yeah, and 3 and 3 and 6. So it's like this. This is why you only have to hear it. You don't need to understand it. So relax also. The more relaxed you are, the better this works, by the way. Whatever you understand is fine. Whatever you don't, you will hear it again. If not in this life, in another life. And then something will wake up. And then all of a sudden it goes like, ah! Yeah? And then you cut your hair. If it needs to be cut. So an honest livelihood, so if possible not dealing in drugs. Well, I earned my livelihood by selling alcohol and drinking a lot of it myself, too. So I was also asking, I said, well, what now? And then, Geshe also said, come on, relax. Your life seems to be quite meaningful now. So thanks to this, thanks to the people that sponsored that spent their money in my restaurant now, so I had enough money to become a nun, I can be a nun. So be thankful to them and, practice for them, include them in your practices. Then it becomes meaningful. So again, everything can become meaningful in a sort of thing. Then being non-harming, like not harming on purpose. Giving with respect, like not just throwing it. Giving with respect and also giving it with an awareness that actually when I give something to you, you become the cause for my future prosperity. So who is the one who should say thank you? The one who takes it or the one who gives it? Huh? Both. Well, especially the one who gives it, isn't it? That somebody is taking it. I should be grateful that there's somebody there that I can practice generosity with. If nobody needs anything, how can you practice generosity? Yeah, we will come to that also the last day when we talk about 6 perfections. What is generosity? Giving with respect. So like, wow, thank you very much for taking it. You see, sometimes we give away old stuff. Like, or you have something double. If you have, like here I have 3 books the same. Yeah? Well, they're pretty much all the same. But they're the same books. So imagine one of them is old, or one of them is new. And you think, well, I don't need 4. Yeah, I have 4 actually, not 3. So which one would you keep? The new one or the old one? Huh? To be honest. Yeah. If you have too many clothes, which ones you give away? The ones you're not attached to, the ones you think, I don't need this anymore. The clothes that you think, yeah? Not, oh, I'm so happy to have that. So, and then we feel very generous. And then the other person has to keep it for the rest of their lives, otherwise they get upset. We gave it away because we don't want it anymore, and then the other one has to keep it. It's also a bit strange, isn't it? Our kind of generosity. This is why giving money is great, is really good, because then it's theirs. You're not going, do you still have my 100 shekel note that I gave you? Yeah? But if you buy something with these 100 shekel, and you give it like a watch or something, and they wear the watch for a while, all of a sudden they wear another watch. In your mind it's like, where's my watch? Yeah? This is how we practice. This is what we call generosity. It's not your watch anymore, it's theirs. You gave it to him. So it's better to give like money. Then they can have the freedom to buy whatever you want, and you really give, because then it's not yours anymore. Okay, so those are what is called 16 practices for a precious human rebirth. You practice that, you train in that, then you don't have to worry anything about at the time of death. And you train to, in every situation that you are, especially when you don't get what you want, to have a peaceful mind. Because then the mind will go to that space at the time of death and not freak out, maybe. You have no guarantee. There's no chance. I mean, I've seen people dying very peacefully who were horrible people in their life. And I thought like, oy, oy, oy. But no, they went very peacefully. Good thing that they went peacefully, because then they have a good chance of having better conditions to be nice people. You also need good conditions to be nice people. Yeah? If you are born into conditions where it's very difficult to survive and a lot of suffering, and you're abused as a child, wow, it's very difficult to be kind. You have a good chance to become aggressive, either you get towards yourself or towards others, or both. Yeah. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's very difficult. Whereas if you're born into a loving family and you meet a lot of security and you feel that you're being loved, then you have a good chance also that you can pass it on to others. So like that. So at the time of death, because we lose all these supports that we have in our daily life, so it can be beneficial to find something that will hold at the time of death, so we're not born into a suffering existence. So now you have a half an hour, 20 minutes break. Oh, yeah, half an hour is okay. Until 5:30, you have a break, and then you come back here, and then if you want, I will guide you through these points, if you want. If you'd rather not, then you think, no, this is perverse, thank you very much, I don't want to think about my own death. Because people think they will die sooner and earlier if they think about it. Well, you see, if that would be the case, then we would live eternally, because none of us wants to think about them. See, if only negative things happen when you think about them, well, then nothing negative would happen to us. So don't worry, it's not going to bring death forward, because you could die tonight, tomorrow, whatever. But not because you've been doing that meditation. Also dying here, wow, great. Immediately we would do medicine Buddha puja for you, and if we know that you were Jewish, we would do the Jewish prayers for you, so that your mind is helped wherever the mind goes, and whatever. So you'll be well taken care of here. So it's it wouldn't be such a disaster. But if you think it's too heavy and you're not prepared for it, then just by all means, please take a break. It's fine. Try to spend the break with yourself though, or look, where is my mind pulling me now? If I would have to telephone now, what would I do now? And then to think, one time of death I cannot call anybody. So then to look, what can I think? What kind of thoughts can I bring up so that I become calm and open again? And if you start panicking and freaking out, it's good. Then just use your mindfulness training to be with the panic, to be with the body sensation of the panic, not to be in the head. If you're panicking, go away from the head, go to the body sensations, and then you can see, oh, I'm not only my panic, I also have awareness who is looking at it. So, because otherwise you identify with the panic. Yeah? Usually when we're not aware and we're not mindful, then we become the negative emotion. Whereas if you're aware, you see, I'm not just the panic. I also have awareness who is looking at it. Okay? Okay, so we'll try to do this meditation and what I wanted to say, these 4 books, what they are, we will take precepts, the 8 Mahayana precepts. This is an explanation about these precepts. There's 4 copies here. You're very welcome to take it also to your room this evening and read it if you want, if you're interested in the benefits of taking precepts, because that's what we constantly think. What is the benefit of taking the precepts? Because it will be difficult, because you don't get you don't get breakfast and you don't get dinner. So there's benefit in that. At one point I was sitting at Tushita, and then because we didn't have this book yet, so I was writing it down, scoping it out like from somewhere, the benefits of taking the precepts. And then because I never locked my door, so then a hand comes in, and my fruit basket was always next to the door. A hairy hand comes in and reaches out and takes the mango that was there in the fruit basket. And I thought, that must be a monkey who is taking precepts, because one of the benefits is not having any difficulties of getting food. So, even he was reborn as a monkey, there's something that still lingered on to get a mango, because otherwise there's no way of getting mangoes in Dharamsala. They don't grow in Dharamsala, they have to be transported there. So I was very happy. I thought, okay. It was when I was writing out these kind of benefits, it was really funny, I think. And I didn't jump on him, because I had other occasions I would, like a goalkeeper, kind of jump on these monkeys when they came in, kind of. And I was also going, what are you doing? You know, like, so that they would go to defend my mangoes. So this is what spiritual practice is all about, to become aware of how you act with your body and with your speech, and what the mind is doing, basically. And then you can transform slowly, without judging yourself, without low self-esteem, by having healthy self-confidence. Wow, I'm trying to develop a good heart. Isn't that wonderful? I don't succeed, but I am trying, and I will keep trying until I succeed, even if it lasts a long time. So then out of that, like healthy self-confidence should come about. Okay? Thank you very much. Please, in here, keep silence, and the questions I will answer tonight, in the night.